Welcome to the realm of Millenia. Be ye a man, a woman, a child, a spirit, a creature, or the Mahan. Be ye a native migrator, or maybe even an invader into the realm. Welcome, for I am your host, the Millennium Mailman, here today, bringing you guys and gals yet another hot take hump day. What do you want, doggo? Bringing you guys and gals the information from the realm of Millenia. But hey, listen, I'll be sitting here chilling, bringing you I'll be sitting here world building for you long after you've already begun to acclimate and fit in. So go ahead, sit back, relax, and enjoy this hot take hump day. Wacky ideas. So this is week 21 Devil's Advocate hot take. Right? This is a man versus woman conversation. I actually have no notes on it. I'm just gonna freestyle it off the dome. Freestyle it off the dome. Inside or outside, I've not opened the door a million times for you, doggo. And the door's not staying open. Yeah, just bask in the sun. You're fine. Anywho's, week 21 Devil's Advocate is men versus women debates are the cause and effect of female empowerment, inflated egos, and accountability for the autonomy they said that they wanted, and later realized they didn't. But hey, that's just the devil talking, right? So that's the whole conversation basis of this hot take here today. So I'd say a debater's easiest way of going about this to garnish support for either side would be to break down exactly what those three things of the woman aspect there after cause and effect. The cause and effect of female empowerment is going to be point one, inflated egos is point two, and accountability is point three, right? Where in this discussion and support the fact that men and women debates are women's fault, which is effectively here, right? What the narrative is saying. It's women's fault. Female empowerment. There's not much to express and explain there. It's just female empowerment. You could make an argument closer to 1800s. I guess you can make that kind of conversational plot point talking aspect of the 1800s when during like the height of mental asylums and psych wards and such, where women's voices were so suppressed they truly meant nothing. Oh, you disagreed with your husband? Get an evaluation and stay there till you act ready to act right, right? Where a woman's voice was so suppressed and the pendulum just went lopsided, right? These men and women debates are the cause and effect of women's empowerment, where on both sides, both men and women were empowering other women. So men were empowering women in order to speak up and speak out, and then women were also very much empowering and supporting their fellow womenships to speak up and speak out on the things being talked about and discussed on the matter and such, as well as just move on forward. But as we talk about the pendulum and how it swings back and forth, to one extreme to the next. That's where the phrase comes from one extreme over to the next extreme, back to the other extreme, right? We could make the argument that men and women debates are the cause and effect of female empowerment just going way too far. There's like feminism that made it to this point. Okay, you're tilting, they're further, they're long gone. Is it coming down again? I don't think it's coming down again. I think the pendulum broke. They pushed it so far, it's broken. But hey, since it's broken, all the men want to fight and blame women for it. All the women want to blame the men for it, and so on and so forth, right? So these men and women debates are very much the cause of that female empowerment going too far, right? That's the first point I'd say in support of that. It's the women's fault, right? The women decided to take empowerment too far, and men, ignorant men, I should say, just don't know when to stop. Like, hey, you can chill out. You're about to inflate some egos right there, and it's too late. Nah, darn, it's too late. The egos have already been inflated. They're making life rafts out of it and hot air balloons out of it. I think they just launched a rocket from that hot air balloon. Yep, the ego is now in space. Yep, pendulum just gone, right? Female empowerment leads to inflated egos into plot point 2, right? I think that's a pretty decent segue, but yeah, inflated egos. To really dig into that point there, what is an ego? Ego, a person, place, or thing. It's a noun. It's a thing. If you have an ego, all an ego is a manner of self-esteem and self-importance. It is a person's self-esteem and self-importance. So what does it mean to blame inflated egos? That means you have a hyped up, inflated self-worth and self-importance and self-esteem. Your self-worth, your self-importance, like the world revolves around you kind of self-importance, and then self-esteem, right? Where talks of being on my level and discussions about how valuable I am, or this and that, I'm high value, I'm high maintenance. Those are all aspects of self-esteem, self-importance, and self-worth, right? And the same thing to the opposite end of the pendulum is to be like, I'm worth nothing. I'm in a deep funk of depression. I should die. I know what? I should have died yesterday. Know what? I never should have been born. I'm so useless. Those are deflated egos. Their self-importance, their self-worth, their self-esteem is shot. Dead. Right? So, taking it on, we could say men and women debates are the cause and effect of inflated egos. It could be the woman's side, it could be the man's side. Who knows? Right? Inflated egos, the self-worth, that self-esteem, that self-importance of both sides not stopping the conversation. That inflated ego, that inflated self-importance of the women who really continue the female and empowerment and the feminist movement, the progressivism of the whole topic, right? You could blame the fact that men and versus women, these men versus women debates going around is very much the fault of inflated egos on the women's side, because women feel or clearly need or demand more, or on the men's side, and the fact that men believe the very same things, that men deserve more or that women deserve less. Men just having their egos, their self-esteem, and their own self-worth and self-importance overly inflated to believe that women deserve less or that they themselves deserve more, and vice versa, that women feel men deserve less or that women deserve more. It's an inflated ego thing, right? And then the last one here is accountability. Accountability for the autonomy that women said they wanted and later on realized they didn't, right? That last, third, and final one right there would be a reference specifically to how it's much less a woman thing and more of a very human thing. Everyone wants to be accountable for something because accountability means you get to have control, right? But there are a number of quotes and phrases that go along the lines of no one's ever really in control of anything. Control itself is very much an illusion, right? But in order to be in control of something, you first have to have accountability over it so you can be responsible for it. If you're not responsible, because you can't really be held responsible for the good or the bad unless you are actually able to be held accountable to and for your control over a situation, over a thing, over people versus anything. If you can't be held accountable to it for the parts you do control, then you have no power. And again, because a lot of the men versus women constantly refer to the 1800s, back in the 1800s, in the height of the psych ward era of development, when women's voices was heavily and directly suppressed and so on and such forth. Accountability, women, especially cinematically, women of that time frame and that time period were cinematically like, hey, I would rather be held accountable for any and everything I do and get punished for that than be under someone's foot and boot and still hurting. I'd rather be hurt for the choices I made and the things I actually chose to do and take part in rather than suffer under someone's foot, under someone else's control, under someone else's tyrannical leadership. I would much rather suffer for my own choices than suffer for the choices someone else made for me, right? So this is the last one of accountability for the autonomy they said they wanted and later realized they didn't. That's a reference to that specifically, like, oh, I want to be accountable for my own life. I want to do it. And then you live your life and you hate everything about your life and wish you were never born. Yep, that's your own fault. And because you hate yourself so much, or you hate the world so much, you're gonna start fights with the other half of your entire species. You are going to stand for all the people like you, all the women, be they biologically women or mentally like a woman or not. You're going to stand for any and everyone like you, or anyone and everyone who you perceive to be like you, regardless of the truth, because you want to voice that you felt like you didn't have control. You felt that you didn't have control. Right? And one thing that allows people to be able to connect to that feeling is being able to speak for themselves, right? And America, the land of free speech, right? In America, where you can especially speak your mind and speak your thoughts and opinions without legal repercussion, specifically just for your opinion. The big thing is that, hey, after people have been speaking their mind, they start to realize, darn, actually, now that I'm taking part in all this adulting stuff, I want to move back in with my mom. I want to move back in with my parents. I don't like it out here. It was much simpler being at home. Yeah. Like everyone said, enjoy your youth. Like everyone said, it's not easy out here. Like everyone said, it's going to be hard. It's going to be easy at some days, for sure. You'll love those days, those easy days. But overall, life is hard. Life is difficult. It's tough. It's tough out here. It's tough in these streets, man. But people can only empathize and feel what people are saying after they actually take part in it. And that's the very thing parents especially try to guard and protect their children from, experiencing the worst parts that they themselves hated, right? Parents who really care about you never want you to experience those worst parts of the world they had to live through. So they guard you from that aspect of the truth, to the point where it is so easy for people to be made gullible because they're naive to what the truth is. Full accountability and full autonomy over the things you do freaking sucks. A good 99% can be rather sweet. And how do you still have 99%? It's when you are subservient to someone you choose. Like, regardless of your religion, all religions have you subservient to some sort of deity. And the fact that you get to technically choose whether to obey or disobey is just the difference. That they'll let you do what you want and just give you a consequence later on. Right? I dare you. Okay. He's listening. Okay. He's listening. I'm not sure he's listening. I'm not sure. Right. I'll punish you later. Having full accountability can be rather jarring. Because with 100% accountability comes 100% of the punishment. And I think the same way a lot of men who grow up and realize life was so much easier before. Women, after joining the female empowerment brand image, claiming feminism and so on and so forth for all the extra benefits, they later realized, honestly, I wish I didn't have to do none of this. We started these men versus women debates just to say that women could do anything men could do. I'm only halfway through my life and I want to kill myself. Yeah, I'm starting to understand and vibe with a whole lot of the men who end up offing themselves. I'm too much of a coward, so I'm going to live my entire life just hating myself. But every day I get to understand men more and more and how and why they end up doing it. It fucking sucks. That's a product of you women and women empowerment and women inflated egos grasping onto accountability, and they're like, I don't think I actually wanted the 100%. I just wanted more of the accountability. I wanted more say so. I didn't actually want to be pointed finger at when stuff hit the fan. That's kind of high, and it's kind of dirty, and it's kind of stinky. I don't actually. The fan is spreading it around. Don't blame me. No, I don't even want to wipe it up. I'm moving. I'm gonna buy a new house. I'm leaving. Gross. Female empowerment, inflated egos, and accountability. All on both sides. Female empowerment supported by both men and women. Inflated egos from both men and women. And accountability for female autonomy is what started all these men versus women debates. You can blame men, you can blame women. But ultimately, it's those three things that initiated the spike of this discussion. Blame whoever you want to, but it's not much of a who problem. It's a what is being blamed problem. You guys are pointing the finger back and forth. That man did it, that woman did it, that man did it, that woman did it. So long, these people are gonna be dead one day. And yet still, everyone's still gonna have these men versus women debates. If the people who started it are long gone and the conversation is still happening, you should stop pointing the finger at people and start pointing the finger at the topic. Men and women debates and these three things: female empowerment, inflated egos, and accountability for women's autonomy. Where in that last one, accountability for the female autonomy, is the endless age-old that no woman really wants to admit they don't even want 100% of, and that no man, no good man, is gonna go out of their way to be like, you don't want your own autonomy, because it just sounds weird. It sounds like you're being a creep. I certainly can't say it either. Like, you don't want all your autonomy. You don't want to be held accountable for that. That just makes me sound weird. That makes me sound gross, disgusting, and rather very much a controlling, narcissistic creep. You don't really want all that accountability and control for the things you do in your life, do you? Just sit back, relax. I'll take care of it for you. Right? It just seems weird and creepy. So no man's gonna say it because they know how it sounds. They know how weird and dumb it's gonna be to try and explain it. So it's like, nah. No, bro. Absolutely not. Right? And then same thing on the women's side. The person to speak up. And the first woman or women's who dared to care and speak on the behalf of all the womans is gonna get every buckshot point in their direction for this. The audacity of you. How dare you? How dare you expose that? Full accountability. We can whitewash it later. Don't ever let them know. You're going against the grain. We fought so hard for this. We can't let it go. It makes us look dumb or stupid. No, you actually look dumb and stupid, or holding on to the fact that you all want 100% accountability when after a couple of questions you just proved very much that you don't want 100%. You want closer to 90 to 99% accountability. and autonomy for your own lives. That other 10%, you're more than willing to share or give entirely up to a government. That other 10%, you're very willing to submit to the right man in your life. That other 10%, you would willfully give up for the sake of your child if you have one. That it's one or all of them, dude. Because right now, as it stands, even without you saying that you don't want 100%, every time you say, I'm a girl's girl, I'm a girl's girl, that's you giving up more than 10% to the cause of feminism. Come on. It's going to make us look dumb. They're going to call us stupid if we give in and admit it. No. No one's going to call you dumb and stupid for admitting it. We're going to recognize that you're smarter now. Smart people are certainly going to call you dumb and stupid for noticing that you were wrong and never admitting that you were wrong so we could move on and get better. I'm going to call that person a stupid person. If there's a drug addict on drugs who knows and has come to Jesus moment like, hey, I actually am doing something incredibly terrible and bad for myself. I'm going to keep doing it and lie to everyone else around me so I can convince them taking drugs was one of the best decisions of my life. Because if I admit that I'm wrong and I need help and I want to fix my drug addiction problem, they're going to call me stupid. They're going to point and laugh at me. Dude, you're paranoid and you're fiending right now. Get help, admit you were wrong, so we can fix it and get you in a whole better situation. Nah, man, I can't admit the truth. I can't dare. Don't you touch me. Leave me alone. That is what everyone a part of the feminist movement looks like. Literally. You got a whole bunch of females fighting and crying about having these conversations and talking to about men versus women because don't touch me. Leave me alone. I can never admit the truth. Like, come on, dude. You sound and look so much worse because you're voicing the fact that you do know what the truth is and just don't want to play part in it. That is the not so good look. No one has 100% accountability and control over their own actions and deeds. You can claim a little more because when you get caught up in a terrible situation that you might not have caused, but you might have been able to avoid, when you take accountability for what the things you did do that you could have changed to put you in that circumstance, that's you claiming more accountability. It makes you look more reliable. It makes you look smarter. It makes you any and everything that you may have felt that you didn't have power and control over. It brings back power, mental stability, self-esteem when you realize and you recognize the things you could have done that you can choose to do in the future based on the things you failed and screwed up in the present. Take accountability, dude. Take accountability. So long as you're looking for someone to give you accountability over your own life, you will never have anything close to 90%. You're always going to be led by the nose as someone gullible without any power of any sort over your own life. You're going to be drugged by the nose as Mr. or Mrs. Gullible your entire life. The phrase is take accountability for your actions. Take accountability. And you can only take accountability when you make the first step. What's the first step? Admittance. When you admit it. You take accountability when you first admit what's going on. And after you admit what's going on, we can take next steps. But hey, I digress. Men versus women debates are the cause and effect of female empowerment, inflated egos, and accountability for the autonomy that the women said they wanted and later realized they didn't, but were too cowardly to admit that they wanted all along. I didn't want that. I didn't really want all that accountability. I just wanted the self-esteem. And I didn't know how to do it, so I garnered support. I went out to the world, found fellow like minds that felt like they had too little. We all came together and voiced our concerns. We led each other by the nose and led men by the nose that we wanted accountability and autonomy for our own selves, our own bodies, our own choices, any and every day, because we could be just like men. Know what? We could be men. Know what? We could be better than men. Why is men in this conversation? If you feel you want more power, control, and authority, take accountability. Recognize the role and parts you play in your life, and go on from there. But no, we're having these men versus women conversations because female empowerment, inflated egos, and accountability for autonomy, women's autonomy. But hey, that's just me, the Millenia Mailman, here to deliver the devil's advocate hot take to you for the week. That's all I really got, which is kind of funny because I'm telling you, this is my page. This is my page here. This is all I have. All I have is the week 21 devil's advocate and what the phrase is. That entire conversation just flowed off the dome because I don't actually have words on paper, because this is not really a belief of mine. It's just something that can flow off the dome. I can debate anything. Pick a side, take a side. Let me do it. I can do it. Bet. Right? I could also do this from the other side as well, where this video was mostly blaming women. I'll do a second video. I'll turn it into a Friday video where I take the same exact thing and blame men for it. Yeah. But anywho, hot take. Peace. Wait, outro. Like, comment, share for more exposure. Subscribe if you feel like it, in support of the book, not the channel. And dislike the video if you don't, it's fine. But hey, I'll be posting videos faster than the gears can turn. That away. Peace. Have a good one. Bye-bye.